Watch her for a second. That wobble. That little stumble sideways when she pounces. Most people see this and think one thing. Something is wrong with this kitten. They're half right. Something is different about her brain. But wrong isn't the word for it. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why thousands of cats like her aren't broken, aren't suffering, and aren't rare tragedies. There's something far more interesting. This is the story of cerebellar hypoplasia, and it starts long before this kitten ever took her first wobbly step. Here's what you just watched. A kitten with a neurological condition that affects balance and coordination. Vets sometimes just call it CH. Online, people call it wobbly kitten syndrome. But here's the thing. Almost nobody outside of veterinary medicine actually knows what causes it, whether it hurts, or what life looks like for a cat who has it. So in the next 10 minutes, we're going deeper than the clip. We'll look at what's actually happening inside a kitten's skull before it's even born. We'll bust a few myths that get repeated constantly online. We'll hear how rescues handle these kittens. And we'll get into the honest, science-backed answer to the question everyone asks first. Can these cats actually live a good life? Let's start at the very beginning, 3 weeks before birth. That swaying walk, the wide stance, the exaggerated head bobs when she's focusing on something. None of that is clumsiness in the way we usually think of it. It's not a kitten who hasn't learned to walk yet. It's a kitten whose cerebellum, the part of the brain that fine-tunes movement, never finished forming. The cerebellum sits at the base of the brain, and its job isn't to start movement. It's to smooth it out. It's the difference between reaching for a cup and knocking it over, or reaching for a cup and picking it up cleanly. In a kitten with CH, that part of the brain is underdeveloped. Not damaged after the fact, underdeveloped from the start. So every movement she makes is a little exaggerated, a little imprecise, because the smoothing system was never fully built. Here's the part almost nobody expects. The most common cause isn't genetics, and it isn't an accident after birth. According to veterinary sources including VCA Animal Hospitals and PetMD, the leading cause is a virus called feline panleukopenia, which can infect a pregnant mother cat and cross into her unborn kittens. The cerebellum happens to develop very late in pregnancy and in the first few weeks after birth, which makes it unusually vulnerable during that exact window. If the virus reaches the kittens while that part of the brain is still under construction, development simply stops partway through. It's worth saying clearly, kittens born this way are not sick with the virus themselves, and they can't pass anything on to other cats. The virus did its damage before birth. What's left afterward is simply a brain that grew a little differently, not an active infection. Less commonly, CH can also come from malnutrition in the mother, physical trauma during development, or in rare cases, genetics. Let's clear up a few things people get wrong constantly. Myth 1. CH is contagious. It isn't. The virus that caused it is long gone by the time the kitten is born. Myth 2. CH gets worse over time. It doesn't. Veterinary sources are consistent on this. It's a static condition. The brain doesn't deteriorate further. The kitten simply learns to work with the coordination she has. Myth 3. These cats are in pain. They're not. Vets describe CH as a coordination issue, not a painful one. Myth 4. CH kittens can't be pets. In reality, most live full, safe, happy lives, indoors, and often with a few small accommodations. This is the question every viewer actually wants answered. And the honest scientific answer is, largely, yes. Most kittens with cerebellar hypoplasia go on to live a normal lifespan. It's not progressive, it's not painful, and cats are remarkably good at adapting their own behavior to compensate for it over time. That doesn't mean life is identical to any other cat's. Balance stays imperfect. Fine motor tasks, landing a jump perfectly, walking a narrow ledge, may always be harder. But eating, playing, purring, forming bonds with people, none of that requires a fully developed cerebellum. Caring for a CH cat isn't complicated, but it does look a little different. CH cats should be kept strictly indoors, since impaired balance makes them vulnerable outside, to traffic, falls, or other animals. Beyond that, owners often make small adjustments. Litter boxes with lower, wider sides for easier access, non-slip mats to prevent slipping on hard floors, and furniture arranged to avoid dangerous falls. Some cats need help eating or drinking early on if their coordination is more severely affected, though many simply adapt on their own over the following months. Here's a harder truth worth saying out loud. In the past, CH kittens were sometimes misunderstood by shelters unfamiliar with the condition, and misdiagnosed as more seriously ill than they actually were. Rescue organizations have spent years working specifically to educate shelters and foster networks so that these kittens get an accurate diagnosis instead of being written off. The shift has been real. Today, there's a growing community of rescues, veterinarians, and foster homes who specifically understand CH, and a wave of adopters who actively seek these cats out, not despite the wobble, but often because of it. To stay honest here, researchers don't have a single blood test that confirms CH. Diagnosis is mostly clinical, a vet observing the kitten's movement pattern and ruling out other neurological conditions, sometimes supported by an MRI showing a visibly smaller cerebellum. And severity varies a lot. Some kittens have a mild wobble that's barely noticeable by adulthood. Others have a much more pronounced version for life. That range depends on exactly how much of the cerebellum was affected and exactly when in development the disruption happened. One thing vets and rescues agree on: the goal isn't to protect a CH cat from ever moving on her own. Encouraging normal movement, climbing, playing, exploring safely, actually helps kittens build confidence and adapt their coordination over time. Overprotecting them can do more harm than good. Zoom out, and this kitten's wobble tells a story bigger than one cat. It's a story about how a preventable virus, decades ago, was far more common, and how modern vaccination of pregnant and breeding cats has made CH considerably rarer than it once was. It's also a story about how something that looks like a disability, on closer inspection, is often just a different way of moving through the world. So the next time you see a cat wobble, sway, or stumble in a video like this one, you'll know what you're actually looking at. Not an illness, not suffering. A brain that developed a little differently, attached to a cat who, in almost every case, doesn't know she's different at all. Cerebellar hypoplasia isn't a tragedy. It's a variation, one that thousands of cats live with fully, happily, for their entire lives. If this changed how you see kittens like her, consider sharing it. There are still shelters out there that don't fully understand this condition, and every share helps change that. And if you want more real, science-backed animal stories like this one, subscribe. There's a lot more worth understanding.